बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। भागवत महापुराण की जय। Devotees, again as we begin our second night of the Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran Yatra, let's begin with Vandana. We begin with prayer, supplications to the Supreme Lord, seeking His blessings, protection, guidance. We seek Guru's blessings and guidance also, first and foremost, of course. Prathamam Sadgurum Vande Shri Krishnam Tadanantaram Guru Papatmana Trata Shri Krishnas Tvamalatmana Kasturi Tilakang Lalat Patale Vakshasthale Kaustubham Nasagre Varamautikam Karatale Venuh Kare Kankanam Sarvange Harichandanam Sulalitam Kanthe Chamuktavali Gopastri Pariveshtito Vijayate Gopal Chudamani Namah Kamalna Bhaya Namah Kamal Maline Namah Kamal Padaya Namaste Kamalekshana Yo Brahmanam Virdhati Purvam Yo Vedansha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagvang Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurve Sharanamaham Prapadye. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Shrimat Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. Radha Rani ki jai. Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai. आदरणीय पूजनीय पंडितगण, प्रिय सज्जनों, प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, महानुभाव, most worshipable Pandits. Especially tonight we have with us Pandit Satyananda Maharaj of the Satya Ananda Ashram and his son Aditya. We also have Pandit Chetra Maharaj from New York visiting with us. We're indeed very blessed to have such esteemed Pandits in our midst. I'm sure we have other Pandits listening also too. We're going to say Pranam, Radhe Radhe, and Pranam to all of them. Humblest of Pranam to all the devotees, dearest devotees, divine souls. and those who listen to us in the medium of Bhakti TV, also live. I want to say Radhe Radhe and Pranam to all of you, and a special thanks to Pandit Satyanand Maharaj, the producer of Bhakti TV, and whose courtesy this is possible that so many of us can view and see live. Tonight again we want to thank our sponsors. Very special thank you. Again, the little store of Rapsi Street, Europe. We want to thank them. Their phone number 663-4415. Sital Fabricating and Construction Limited from Felicity. Their phone number 671-5126. We want to thank them very much. May the Supreme Lord continue to shower His choicest blessings upon them. As we continue tonight, before we go into Katha as usual, we do Bhagavat Sumiran. Remember in Bhagavat and the great blessing of Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran, glorifying Bhagavan Shri Krishna, glorifying Ganesh Bhagavan, glorifying Shiv Bhagavan. Riddhi Siddhi Data, Siddhi Sadan Varan Vadan, Sumira Barambar, मदन कदन के लाल को गणपति कृपा निधान ज्ञान खानी आनंद भवन देहु मोहि वरदान वरनो भाषा भागवत जय शिव आनंद कंद भूतनाथ भव भय हरन भक्ति विषय निर्द्वंद गौर बरन मंगल करन हे ब्रज चंद मुकुंद ब्रजभूषण दूषण हर काटहु भव भय पंद चरण शरण ली आन कर जय 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 जगदीश सेवत शेष महेश अजय महिमा अमित अभेद वेद भेद जानत ने देहु मोहि वरदान राधा वर यह वर सदा प्रेम भरी मुस्कान नित चित्त में खट खाट रहे मोहि चाहिए कछु नाही और वस्तु प्रभु जात की बसी रहे मन माही यह जाकी झाकी सदा लिए लकुटिया हाथ गायन के पीछे पीरत ग्वाल बाल लिए साथ मोर मुकुट शिर पर धरे कर मुरली उर्मान शीश मुकुट कटी पीत पट या छविसो नंदलाल बसहु हृदय मम निषीदे गुरुपद रज धर्षि गुरुपद रज धर्षि कहु भागवत की कथा, जो शुकदेव मुनीश कवि, सो परीक्षित निप अति भय। निगम कल्पतरोर गलितं फलम्, शुकमुखादमृतद्रव संयुतम्, पिबत भागवतं रसमालयम्, मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुका, मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुका। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। बोले सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, राधा रानी की जय, श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। अब सावधान हो जाए और चित्त एकाग्रत होकर सुन लीजिए। Now let us try to be very alert, very attentive, focus our minds and listen very carefully. I've told you I was just told that we have in our midst also Pandit Kemraj Vyas Maharaj. Panditji, most heartiest swagatam, Radhe Radhe or Pranam. We are indeed very blessed to have you in our midst. Panditji. This, as I've been telling you, ये भागवत महापुराण, इसको पंचम वेद कहते हैं। क्यों कहते हैं? क्योंकि भागवत वेद का अनुवाद है। वेद वो स्वयं भगवान है वेद, और जैसे भगवान को कोई समझ नहीं सकते, वेद को भी हमारे बुद्धि से परे है। इसलिए वेद व्यास जी महाराज, जो भगवान का आवेशा अवतार, उन्होंने वेद का अनुवाद किया, भागवत को प्रकट किया, लिख दिया और मनुष्य का उद्धार, बहुत बड़े उद्धार किया। I've been telling you that this Bhagavat Mahapuran, Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran, is called Pancham Ved, the fifth Ved. Why? Because it is translation of Vedas. Vedas, as I've been telling you, I've told you, it is Bhagwan personified. Vedas are called Apaurusheya. Apaurusheya, meaning they don't have their origin in man. They were not delivered by some prophet, angel, or messenger of God, as were the scriptures of other religion. By Vedas, no books are meant. They are the eternal treasury of divine laws revealed by the Supreme Lord Himself. Niyaswasitamasya Vedaha. They are the very breath of the Supreme Lord. Jaki sahaj shwas shruti chari. So Vedas are Bhagwan personified, God personified. And just as God is beyond our senses, mind and intellect, in the same way Ved is beyond our senses, mind and intellect. The Vedas say, Acharyavan Purusho Hi Ved. Only Acharya, in other words, one who has attained God realization, has become equal to God, can know what is in Vedas. Vedavyas, knowing this, and for the betterment and welfare of humankind, of mankind. Veda Vyas, the last scripture he wrote. 17 Puran likh diya. He had put Vedas in book form, finally, little more than 5,000 years ago, knowing that Kali Yuga was approaching, the terrible age of Kali Yuga. The human, our memory, everything is so weak. So he finally put Vedas in book form. And he'd written Mahabharata, that great epic Mahabharata, 1,00,000 mantra, 100,000 mantras, 17 Puranas, etc. But he found no peace, ashanti, restless. Naradji came. Naradji said, Veda Vyas, kya hua? What happened, Veda Vyas ji? First, Veda Vyas fell at the feet of Naradji, did pranam to Naradji, that great Rishi Muni Narad. He said, Naradji, I don't know. I have no peace. Naradji said, yes, I understand. It is because you have yet to write a book. You have put Vedas in book form. Pehle ek Ved the. There was only one Ved. Veda Vyas divided it into 4. Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sam Ved, Atharva Ved. That's how he got the name Veda Vyas. You put Vedas in book form, you've written the great epic Mahabharata, 17 Puranas, but you're yet to write a book, a Granth, that describes only the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and his divine pastimes. And that thing which is dearest to Shri Krishna, Bhakti, the path of divine love. So Naradji instructed Veda Vyas, pehle aapko hi khud bhakti karni paregi. First, you have to do bhakti yourself. Even though you are Vesha avatar, partial manifestation of Shri Krishna, you have to do bhakti first. So Veda Vyas went and did bhakti. And then Maya appeared before him. Maya has a form. Maya appeared. He had vision of Maya. And then Bhagwan appeared, came before him and blessed him. And so Veda Vyas wrote Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran, the last scripture he wrote, the last Puran. This Bhagavat Mahapuran is the bhashya, explanation of Vedas. And that's why, if you observe last night, the philosophy is so deep and so high. Many may have been wondering, why this amount of philosophy? We just want to hear katha, some little story. The word katha doesn't mean story. The word katha means that which takes us closer to Bhagwan. जो भगवान के नजदीक ले जाते हैं, उसको कथा कहते हैं. That which takes us close to God. That is called katha. So, the deepest philosophy. And, थोड़ा संक्षेप समझ लो. Just understand briefly. I told you, Swayambhu Manu, one of the first Manu, Swayambhu Manu. In one kalp, there are 14 Manus. 12 hours of Brahma, 14 Manus. The Manu in the age we are living is called Vaivaswata Manu. So the first Manu, Swayambhu Manu, his son was Priyabrat. The son of Priyabrat was Agnidra. The son of Agnidra was Nabhi. And the son of Nabhi was Rishabh Rishabh is also called Rishabh Bhagwan, as he is the descension of Shri Krishna himself. Avatar. Rishabh had 100 sons, Sauputra. Of them, the eldest was Jar Bharat, after whom this whole world became known as Bharat Varsh. Before it was known as Ajnab Varsh. Of the 99 that remained, 81 became Purohit. Purohit, performing yagnas, etc. 9 became rulers of the world, and 9 were yogishwars, topmost among yogis, God among yogis. Kavi havir antariksha prabuddha pipalayana avirhotro thadumilas chamasa karabhajana. Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran, 11 canto, 2nd chapter, 21st verse. The 9 Yogeshwars' name has been given. Kavi, Hari, Antariksh, Prabudh, Pipalayan, Avirhotra, Drumil, Chamas, Karabhajan. 9. So there was a great king by the name of Nimi, Raja Nimi. Raja Nimi was also given the title of Videha. Just as Janak, the father of Mother Sita, is called Videha, so Nimi was also called Videha, Videha Nimi. Meaning, he is Paramhans. Videha means one who has no feeling of the body. He has realized, I am the soul, Atma. Paramhans. So Videha was conducting a yagna. The rishis and munis were the purohits. So the 9 yogeshwars start. Let us go and bless this yagna of Videha Nimi. I told you, just like the mind-formed, mind-born sons of Brahma, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, Sanak Kumar, they always remain 5 years old, naked, and they go wherever they want. No one stops them. Abba sochte hai, they just think and they reach to wherever they want to go. In the same way, these 9 yogeshwars, they go wherever they want. No one stops them. And all they have to do is think, I want to go to this so-and-so abode, divine abode, and they reach. They don't need chariot or spaceship or anything. Ab socha bas ho gaya. So they just thought, we want to be blessed with Videha Nimi, and they appeared at the yagna. Nimi seeing them and seeing that glow above them, thousands of suns, the light was coming, emanating from their body. Videha Nimi realized that the topmost among saints have come to bless him. Immediately he got up, ran and went to them. The munis and rishis who were the purohits, they also went, followed him quickly. Agni Dev, the god of fire, he personally appeared. He also personified from the fire and went quickly. The 9 yogeshwars were given the best of seats to sit, and they were worshipped in the highest way. And then Videha Nimi questioned, Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangurah tatrapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priya darshanam. 11 canto, 2nd chapter, 29 verse. First of all, he said, O topmost among saints, Guruji, first of all, this human body is extremely rare and difficult to attain. Durlabh. Even devatas cannot attain it. They are praying and begging for birth in the human form. Out Kshanabhangur. It is Kshanabhangur. Transient, non-lasting. Which moment we can lose it, no one knows. But even more rare and more difficult to attain, Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam, the association of true saints, those who have attained God realization. And I have 9 in front of me. How blessed am I? आप ये बताइए कि हम लोग जो संसारी है, जो अपने को शरीर मानते हैं, हमारा उद्धार कैसे होगा? So please, my first question, he says, We souls who are living in this world, householders, who are under the control of Maya, bounded by attachment and suffering, how can how can we become uplifted? How can we become free from this Maya? So first to begin, we heard last night, the first Yogeshwar Kavi is given answer. And Kavi said, the first thing, that one should first realize that our mind has become so agitated, unruly, agitated, wayward, because we have forgotten who we are. Beautiful verse. Bhayam dvitiya bhiniveshatasya dishadapetasya viparyayo smiti tanmayaya to buddha abhajitam bhaktyayikayesham gurudevatatma. 11 Canto, 2nd chapter, 37th verse. Because the souls have turned their back, Kavi is saying, they have turned their backs away from Bhagavan. Peet kiya, bahirmukh ho gaya. Beautiful verse in the Vedas. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samana briksham parikasva jate tayuranya pippalam swadat nashnan nanju abhichakashiti. Shvetashvatara Upanishad, chapter 4, verse 6. The exact translation of this Ved mantra is given in Bhagavat. Many Ved mantras you will find the exact translation in Bhagavat Mahapuran, word for word. Ved is a different Sanskrit. There are many different types of Sanskrit. Of course, Puran is a different Sanskrit. So the words look different, but the meaning is the same. The same exact words Bhagwan Shri Krishna is saying to Uddhav in Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran. Suparna vetau sadvishau sakhayau yadichayatau kitanidau cha vrikshe ekastayo khadati pippalan manyo niranno pibalena bhuyan. Shrimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, 11 Canto, 11th chapter, 6th verse. So the Ved mantra, Shri Krishna is saying the exact words to Uddhav, that there's a tree, Briksh. Briksh means a tree. On the tree there are two birds. One bird, two birds are sitting. One bird is Paramatma, God, Shri Krishna. And one bird is Jivatma, the individual soul, we people. The position of the two birds are like this. One bird has turned the back to the other bird. One bird is eating the bitter fruits of the tree and suffering. The other bird looks quietly, does not disturb, and just takes note of the thoughts and ideas. The tree is the material world. The fruits of the tree are the people and objects of this world. The bird has turned the back. That is us, the Jivatma, the individual souls. We have turned our backs to God from beginningless time. The cause is Maya. Tanmayayatu buddha abhajitam. Maya has made us forgotten who we are. Apne ko bhul gaya. We have forgotten that we are the soul, the Atma. We have identified from beginningless time with the body. And so we have become overcome with fear. Bhayam. Bhai means fear. Fear of death. Fear of suffering. Fear of loss of material possession. We are filled with fear. All because of forgetting who we are. Dishadape tasya viparyayo smriti. Paryayo smriti. Bhul gaya, we have forgotten. And so because we identify with the physical body, we're looking for happiness in the fruits of that tree. In other words, the objects and people of the world. The bitter fruits of the tree. The bird sitting behind is Bhagavan. And we are suffering because we're looking in the wrong place, where there's nothing. There's no happiness, true happiness. Someone may say, I have found happiness. What is the definition of happiness? The Vedas tell us, Yo vai bhuma tat sukham bhumaiva sukham Chandogya Upanishad. That which is infinite, immeasurable, eternal, beginningless is called sukh or happiness. Once attained, it is possessed forever. We will never become separate from it ever again. We will never experience sorrow ever again. Have we attained such a thing? No. Something gives us a happiness for a few minutes, a few days even, and then we are suffering again. Something is making us happy now, next moment we are sad. So where is the happiness? That's our delusion. So we're looking in the world. As I told you, it's our nature to want happiness because we are a fraction of happiness. It's a law, natural law, that every part, every fraction has a natural love for the whole and wants to become one with it. So we, the individual souls, being eternal parts, fraction of Shri Krishna, naturally love and want only Shri Krishna. Loke nahi sa vidyet yona rama manubhrataha. Valmiki Ramayana. This is why Valmiki ji says in the Valmiki Ramayana, it is impossible to find an individual soul who does not truly love and want God. It sounds strange, because there are people who believe in God and there are people who don't believe in God. They're atheists. They will even try to stop others from taking God's name. So how did Valmiki make such a statement? And as I mentioned, because who is Shri Krishna, who is God? I told you last night, the Vedas, a Rishi, a Muni by the name of Bhrigu, did a research. His father was known as Varun, Brahmagyani, know of God. So Bhrigu made him his guru and did a research to find God. Many things he went through, and eventually he came to the conclusion, Anando Brahmeti Vajanat Anandat Deva Kalvimani Bhutani Jayanti Anandena Jatani Jivanti Anandam Prayantya Bhisam Vishanti. Taittiriya Upanishad chapter 3 verse 6. That God is bliss, happiness. This is the definition. God is Anand, bliss, happiness. The entire universe comes into being from Anand, bliss, happiness. The entire universe is sustained by bliss, happiness. And bliss is that into which we merge upon death. So since it's a natural law that every part, every fraction has a natural love for the whole and wants to become one with it, and because the individual souls are eternal parts, fraction of God, Shri Krishna, it means we love and want only Shri Krishna. And because Shri Krishna is happiness, that's why we all want only happiness. But because of that ignorance, because we have turned our backs away from God, we have become filled with this fear and we are suffering. So, how to become free from that? So he gives this answer in the same verse. Tanmaya yato buddha abhajitam. Maya has covered us and made us forget who we are. But bhaktyayikayesham gurudevatatma. If one were to perform exclusive bhakti, bhaktyayika, exclusive bhakti, exclusive devotion to Shri Krishna and gurudevatatma, worship the Guru like one's own soul, Atma, the soul of our soul. In other words, one who loves the spiritual master, the Guru, dearer than the soul, the own self. Such a person will become free from all fear. He will become free from Maya and he will attain everything. What does a Guru look like? How do we know one has attained that position of the true Guru, a true saint? So, Kavi gives a definition of the saint. Evam vratasva priyanama kirtya jatanurago dutachitta uchai hasatyatho roditi rauti gayatyunmaravan nityatilokabahya. Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran, 11 canto, 2nd chapter, 40th verse. So after saying that one who does exclusive devotion to Shri Krishna and loves the Guru, the spiritual master, seeing him dearer than one's own self, Atma kabhi Atma. And who is the master? It's very hard to find, to know if someone is a true saint, a true Guru. We need Guru. Without Guru we can't get anywhere. But how do we know? Shri Krishna told us in Gita, Tad virpranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. Chapter 4, verse 34, Gita. Two qualities, two things qualifies him to be Guru. Jnaninaha, meaning he has knowledge of all the scriptures, all the Vedas, all the Puranas, every scripture, complete knowledge. Plus, he is able to make us understand. And even more important, Tattva Darshinaha. He has seen God, he has attained the divine vision, he has seen Krishna attain God. If one is so fortunate to find such that Guru, but how are we going to recognize him? So here, this is our surest and best guide. A true saint hides himself. Even God hides himself. When divine entities descend in this world, they hide themselves. As I mentioned to you, whenever God has descended in this world as Ram, Krishna, etc., we were there. We were there. We saw them. But Jaki rahi bhavana jaisi Prabhu murati dekhi tin taisi. How we are on the inside, when we meet divine entities, whether it's God or a saint, we see them just like us. Our mind, how we are on the inside, gets reflected like a mirror. If we have a tamasic nature, we have evil thoughts, we have very low thinking, and we meet God or a saint, very bad man, very bad man. If we have a rajasic nature, we love money, we love power, position, and we meet God or a saint, I know, he likes money. And if we have a sattvic nature, we have noble, high and noble thoughts, and we meet God or a saint, acha hai, acha aadmi. Good man, better than me, but good, that's all. And God and the saints are beyond Maya. That's why when God comes in the world, when He came as Sri Ram, He stayed 11,000 years. And Tulsidas Ji says only one person benefited. One person in that 11,000 years. Ek nari tar. One lady. Ek nari. Ahilya. Everyone else who benefited, who recognized they were saints. So here he's telling, God and the saints naturally hide themselves. Gopaniyam, gopaniyam, gopaniyam prayatnataha. But they don't always succeed in doing so. There are times that the inner reality that they try very hard to control, it comes out. What they experience in every moment. What is the inner reality? A saint possesses the rarest and most precious thing which he tries to hide. That thing is called Bhakti, Prem, divine love. So here, Kavi is saying, a saint whose heart is overwhelmed with divine love fails to control the swelling tide of emotion in an environment where the name of his beloved Lord is being sung. He laughs, screams, weeps, sings, and dances in ecstatic rapture like a madman transgressing all conventions. The symptoms of divine love are manifested. What are the symptoms of divine love? Rup Goswami outlines them in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Stambha svedo taromancha swarabhedo tave patu vaivarnyamashru pralaya ityastau satvika smitaha. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. These are 8 symptoms of divine love, which only a true saint possesses, which God possesses and which He gives to one who attains Him. Divine love. If the atmosphere is right and the saint wants to bless us, grace us with his highest blessing, kahu kahu brishti sadri thori Prabhu prasad ko paav. The saint is seldom seen in his reality. To see a saint in his reality is like snowfall in summer. So rare. So rare to see. A lot of people act. They put on act and they start jumping and behaving crazy so that people will worship them. Most are acting. The true saint, you will know it's a divine thing. So if the atmosphere is right and the name of the Lord is being sung, stamba, he becomes still like a tree. Swed starts perspiring profusely. Romanch, the pause and the body stands on ends, goosebump. Swarabhed, the voice changes. Kampa kampan, shivers like a leaf. Vaivarnya, the color of the face, the skin changes. Ashru, tears starts flowing like a river, and Pralay becomes unconscious as though dead. So here also, Kavi Maharaj is explaining that saint. That saint we have to love more than we love ourselves even. The one who possesses all the symptoms of divine love, who is truly divine. He goes on to say, we'll do bhajan. In the books you have, can join. Page 27. मतवारी प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल मतवारी प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल ओ मतवारी 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 प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल मतवारी प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल जाके लोचन रसाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल जाके ओ जाके नीले नीले गाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल जाके नीले नीले गाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल ओ मेरो मदन गोपाल मेरो मदन गोपाल ओ मतवारी 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 प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल मतवारी प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल भक्ति परेशान भयो विरक्ति अन्यत्र चैकत्र एक कालः प्रपद्यमानस्य यथाक्ष्णता तुष्टि पुष्टि क्षुदपायोनुभाषं मतवारी मतवारी प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल जाके होठ लाल लाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल जाके होठ लाल लाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल जाके घूंघर वाले बाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल जाके घूंघर वाले ओ मेरो प्यारो नंद लाल मेरो प्यारो नंद लाल ओ मतवारी 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 प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल मतवारी प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा अत भगवतं ब्रूत यथो यो यशिदोनिनां यथा चरित यद कृते यैर्लिङ्गैर् भगवत् प्रियः मतवारी मतवारी ओ मतवारी प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल मतवारी प्यारी चाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल पति सूत पितुलाल मेरो यशोदा को लाल पति सूत नाचे गोपी जन ताल मेरो, यशोदा को लाल नाचे
गोपी जन ताल मेरो, यशोदा को लाल।
वो तो कारण बिनु ही कृपाल मेरो, यशोदा को लाल। वो तो कारण
बिनु ही कृपाल मेरो, यशोदा को लाल।
ओ मेरो प्यारो नंद लाल मेरो,
प्यारो नंद लाल।
ओ मेरो मदन गोपाल मेरो, ओ मतवारी 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 प्यारी चाल मेरो, यशोदा को लाल। मतवारी
प्यारी चाल मेरो, यशोदा को लाल।
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। भक्ति परेशानुभयो विरक्ति, अन्यत्र चैकर्तिक एक कालः। प्रपद्यमानस्य यथाश्नतः स्युः, तुष्टिः पुष्टि क्षुदयोपानुघासम्। श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण 11 canto 2nd chapter 42nd verse। जैसे कोई खाना खाते हैं, अब भक्ति करने से क्या होता, तो एक ऐसे बहुत सुंदर उदाहरण दे रहे हैं कि कोई भूखे है, भूख बहुत लग रही है, तो भूख लगने से क्या करना, खाना खाना चाहिए। तो जैसे कोई भूखे है और खाना खाते हैं, तो 3 कार्य होते हैं खाना खाने से अपने आप। एक संतुष्ट होते हैं, तुष्ट होते हैं, तुष्टि। एक पुष्टि, मतलब शरीर को बल मिलते हैं, ताकत होती है। और क्षुधपाय, जो भूख है वो खत्म हो जाती है। So what happens when we do bhakti? This question is, come, what happened if I were to do bhakti, what happens? He's saying do exclusive, ananya bhakti. Exclusively worship the Supreme Lord. Kavi Maharaj is saying. What happens when we do bhakti? So he's given a beautiful example. He says, somebody is hungry. Huh? Very hungry. So when you're hungry, what should you do? You eat food. When you eat the food, 3 things happens by itself. You don't worry about, you're just hungry and you eat. And 3 things happen. Number 1, the hunger will finish. That hunger, that bhook will finish. Number 2, the body gets nourished. From the food that you eat, that food gets converted into juice, juice into blood, blood into flesh, etc. So naturally the body, the food, how it's going to add to the body, to the blood, to the flesh, to the bone, etc. You don't know about all of that. But you eat and the body gets nourished automatically. The vitamins, etc. are absorbed into the body by itself. It gets nourished and you become satisfied. 3 things happen by itself. So in the same way, when one does bhakti, 3 things happen. Gyan, vairagya, और आनंद प्राप्ति. These 3 things will happen by itself. When you do true bhakti in the right way, when bhakti is done through the guidance of a true saint, not what we think is bhakti. Guru बताएंगे, वो खुद करके दिखाएंगे. Not what we think is bhakti. Guru is going to tell us what is bhakti. That's why we need Guru. And he's going to do it himself and show us how to do bhakti. Sadhana bhakti. Tusidasi gives us a very brief hint in the Ramayana. साधन सिद्ध राम पग नेहु मोहि लखि परत भरत मत हेहु जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम साधन सिद्ध राम पग नेहु मोहि लखि परत भरत मत एहु. Tusidasi gives a very, very brief hint here. He says bhakti is both a sadhan, a practice, as well as siddh, a perfection. But there are few readers who can understand the broader implication from this brief hint. What Tusidasi means is that first we'll have to practice bhakti, preparatory devotion, sadhana bhakti. We have to do sadhana. And then, through that sadhana, we'll make a vessel. Patra banana hai. We have to make a vessel. मन क्रम वचन छारी चतुराई भजत ही कृपा करत रघुराई जय राम श्री राम मन क्रम वचन छारी चतुराई. All deceitfulness, fraud, sins have to get rid of. All chaturai, all crookedness, by words, thoughts and deeds. Man krama vachana. When the heart has become pure, nirmala mana jana so mahipava. When the heart completely pure, then Bhagavan bhajata hi kripa karata raghurai. Then Guru will shower his grace, Bhagavan will shower his grace. So first we have to make the vessel, that divine love. If it's given to an undeserving soul, that pure siddha bhakti, that person will be burnt to ashes. To patra banana pehle, patra. So by doing sadhana, under the direction, under the shelter of a true saint, the heart, the mind will become pure, divine. To get divine fruit, divine entity, we have to make a divine vessel. My guru used to say, if you put the milk of a lioness in any other vessel except a golden vessel, that milk will burst. It's a saying. Who's going to milk a lioness, I don't know. But it is supposed to be that the only vessel can hold the milk of a lioness is a golden vessel. Else it will burst. So we have to make for divine, to bring divine love, that divine power of Sri Krishna. This material heart, mind cannot hold it. You have to get a divine. So we do sadhana, shedding tears of selfless love for the Lord. getting rid of all desires, etc. Greed, anger, jealousy, hatred. Slowly, slowly the mind is going to purify. And when it becomes pure, then Guru will shower his grace and we will attain everything. So, in the same way, when we are doing bhakti, so doing bhakti in the right way. Number one thing, shedding tears. What's going to make the vessel? This vessel, what's going to make it divine, pure? So Shri Krishna tells Uddhav, Yathagni he mamalam jahati dhmatam punah swam bhajate charupam atma cha karma nushayam vidhuya mad bhakti yogena bhajatyatho mam. Bhagavat Mahapuran 11 Canto 14th chapter 25th verse. Shri Krishna says to Uddhav, just as gold, when it becomes dirty, or in its natural state, it is filled with impurities, dirt, how do you purify the gold? You heat it in fire. So Shri Krishna says, just as gold, hem means gold. Hem. The Sanskrit, the word for gold in Sanskrit, in Hindi is sona, in Sanskrit, hem. So just as gold, when heated in fire, becomes purified of its dirt, impurities, glows and attains its pure form, in the same way, only when we shed tears of selfless love for God is the heart, the mind purified. Nothing else works. No yoga, no gyan, no karma, except shedding tears of selfless love. That vessel is made. This bhakti, that is bhakti. This is real bhakti. Tulsidas ji gets very angry for people who just do bhakti physically, mechanically. He says in the Ramayana, Doha. Hiye paatahu pootahu nayan Jarahu sutan kehi kaam O Rama jarahu sutan kehi kaam Dravahi shravavahi pulakahi nahi Tulsi sumirat Ram O Rama Tulsi sumirat Ram Siyavar Ramchandra kar jai sharanam Shankar Hari Om Jai Jai Siya Ram Jai Jai Siya Ram Hiye faatuhu footahu nayan Aur jarahu sutan kehi kaam Dravahi shravahi pul kahi nahi Tulsi sumirat Ram. Someone is doing puja, worshiping God. Tulsidas is saying, he's singing God's glory, chanting the name of God, worshiping God. And dravahi, the heart doesn't melt with love. Dravana means to melt. The heart doesn't melt with love. So here tahu, that heart should be ripped apart, useless. Shravahi, tears doesn't flow from the eyes, tears of love. Futahu nayan, those eyes should be busted. Or pulakai nahi. Pulakai means harpilation. The pause in the body doesn't stand on ends, goosebump. Jarahu sutana kehi kaam, that body should be burned to ashes. The same thing is said in Bhagavat Mahapuran, Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran. Tadashmasaram hridayam batedam yad grihyamanai harinamadheyai na vikritat yada vikaro netre jalam ghat taruheshu harsha. Harinam, one is chanting the name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, jumping up, chanting God's name, doing jap, and the heart doesn't melt with love. Netre jalam, tears doesn't flow from the eyes, the paws and the body doesn't raise and ends. Tadashmasaram hridam batedam. That heart must be steel, thunderbolt. It's so hard. So when bhakti is done in the right way, these things will happen. It's supposed to happen, otherwise there's no bhakti. The paws and the body should raise on hands. Tears should flow from the eyes. The heart should melt with joy. So Guru shows us all of this, how to do this. And these things, so when you do bhakti, that bhakti, what will happen? Gyan. We will attain true knowledge. By just doing bhakti, you will get true knowledge. Gyan will come. Or vairagya. Number 2, vairagya. Detachment will come automatically. Because we will start falling in love with God. And the moment you start falling in love with God, your heart will start becoming detached from the world. Are man to ek hai. We only have one mind. So either we love the world or we love Bhagavan. Once you start loving Bhagavan, automatically your mind will start becoming detached. There are people, the more we are touched, the more we love the material world, the less we are inclined to God. That's why some people have no interest at all. No interest, no inclination towards God. The heart, the mind is too dirty. And there are some, they just hear one name of Bhagavan and tears starts flowing. They love to listen to Katha, they love to listen to Bhagavan's glories because there's some purity. Otherwise, Katha is going on, such beautiful Katha, and one person is sleeping. Song sleep. Itna paap hai, so much sin in the heart, the mind. So this will happen. No, true knowledge will come automatically. By doing bhakti, automatically this happens. True knowledge comes because the heart is purifying. Bhakti purifies the heart, the mind. Detachment, vairagya will come automatically. And ananda, we'll start experiencing true bliss. We'll get experiences of divinity, of God. This will happen by itself. Automatically it will start happening. Just by doing bhakti. A beautiful example he gave about eating the food. Atha bhagavatam bhrut yad dharmo yadisho ninam yatha charita yad brute yairlingair bhagavata priyah. बहुत सुंदर प्रश्न है. अब अलग अलग कक्षाएं के भक्त हैं, अलग अलग कक्षाएं के भक्त होते हैं. तो यहां विदेह निमि ने योगीश्वरों से पूछा कि अलग अलग कक्षाएं के भक्तों का वर्णन कीजिए और भक्तों का लक्षण बताइए. So there are different classes of devotees, different classes of devotees. We can generally say A class, B class, C class. A class being the highest, B mean medium, and C the lowest. So what are the classes of devotees? Bhakta, devotees. And what are their characteristics? This is the question that he is asking now. What are the characteristics of these devotees? So let us hear what he says. We'll do a short couple lines of bhajan, and then we'll go and hear what this time. So the second question, first Kavi gave answer, now Hari is going to give answer. The second Yogeshwar. Page 16 in the booklets you have. Radhe Radhe Shri Radhe Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
गाओ छिन छिन नाम राधे गाओ
छिन छिन नाम राधे
ध्याओ छिन छिन रूप राधे श्री राधे 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 ध्याओ
छिन छिन रूप राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
अगति की गति तू ही राधे अगति की
गति तू ही राधे
तो ही तजी कित जाऊं राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
रोही तजी कित जाऊं राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे राधे
राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
न कर्म न काम कर्म बीजानां यस्य चेतसि मद्भवतः वासुदेवैकनिलयः सवै भागवतोत्तमम् राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
गृहीत्वापीन्द्रियैरर्थान् यो न दृष्टि न हर्षति विष्णोर्मायामिदं पश्यन् स वै भागवतोत्तमम् राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 श्री राधे
राधे राधे
मांगु भुक्ति न मुक्ति राधे मांगु भुक्ति
मुक्ति नाम मुक्ति राधे
मांगु तव पद प्रेम राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
मांगो तव पद प्रेम राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
अब न छोरू पाछा तेरा राधे अब न छोरू
छोड़ू पाछा तेरा राधे
प्यार करे या मारे मोही राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
प्यार करे हमारे मोहे राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
हो कृपालु कुपूत जगत बहु हो कृपाल
कुपूत जगत बहु
हो कुमाता न जगहूँ राधे श्री राधे 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 हो न जगहूँ राधे श्री राधे
राधे राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
श्री राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
ओ राधे राधे श्री राधे 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 राधे
राधे श्री राधे राधे राधे
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। अब ये भी बताइए कि भगवान का प्रिय कैसे बन जाए। Now who is the best? What are different classes and how does a devotee become favorite to God? प्रिय बन जाएंगे, becomes the favorite of God. तो यहां बता रहे गृहीत्वापेन्द्रियैरर्थान् यो न दृष्टि न हर्ष्यति विष्णोर्मायामिदं पश्यन् स वै भागवतोत्तमम्। जब से ऊंचे कक्षा 3 कक्षाएं के भक्त हैं, बताया था। एक क्लास बी क्लास सी क्लास, मतलब श्रेष्ठ, मध्यम और सबसे नीचे। तो सबसे ऊंचे कक्षा का भक्त है जो हर जगह अपने को देखते हैं, मतलब आत्मा है, वो नहीं देखते कि ये ऊंचा है नीचा है, और अपने आप को, सबको अपने आप में देखते हैं. The foremost among devotees of the Lord, Hari is saying to Videha Nimi, the second Yogeshwar is given answer now. He sees himself established in all creatures. In other words, he sees the soul everywhere. He doesn't see that this one is a Brahman, this one Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra. He doesn't see this one as a West Indian, a Trinidadian, a Guyanese. He doesn't, or American, or an Indian, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, or an elephant, or a dog, or a cat. Everywhere he sees the soul. Atma. He sees himself everywhere. And he sees in the soul of himself, he sees all residing. He doesn't see difference. Na ucha, na nicha. He doesn't see high and low. He sees everyone. He sees equality everywhere. ऐसे भक्त भगवान के लिए तो परम प्रेमी है, और सब भक्तों का बहुत प्यार करते हैं, और जो अज्ञानी है उन पर दया करते हैं, और जो उनके शत्रु है वो ऐसे रहते हैं, कुछ सोचते नहीं. ये दूसरे कक्षा के भक्त हैं. दूसरे कक्षा मतलब B class. The second class devotee. So A class, the best. The one who sees himself everywhere and everything in himself. He doesn't see differences. And so he loves all creatures because he sees the Lord everywhere. Jit dekhu tit sham mayi hai. Everywhere he sees Shri Krishna. In everything. Batan mein, beetan mein, belan mein, bhagan mein. When Shri Krishna left Vrindavan, the gopis, they saw Shri Krishna everywhere, in the flowers, in the trees, in the cows. Everywhere they saw Shri Krishna. In that separation. They saw Shri Krishna everywhere. Such a devotee, first class. A devotee who loves the Lord, cherishes love for the Lord, is friendly to other devotees. He knows you to be a devotee. He thinks you're my family. He's friendly to you. He is, to those who are ignorant, who wants to quarrel and argue, he is compassionate. Daya karte hai. Poor guy, he doesn't understand. He becomes compassionate for them. And those who don't like him, who want to destroy him, he becomes neutral. So, he is second class because he discriminates. The first class, whether you're an enemy, whether you're a devotee, whoever you are, he doesn't see differences. क्योंकि भगवान देखते हैं. He sees the Lord everywhere and in everyone. You know, people wonder, why does Hindu put their hand together and say Sitaram, Jai Shri Krishna, Radhe Radhe? Why do Hindus do that? In other religion, other people just say good morning, good evening. But Hindus, we put our hands together and we say Sitaram, Radhe Radhe, Jai Shri Krishna, etc. Om Namah Shivaya. So, because as Hindus, we are taught to see God everywhere in everything. So when a Hindu puts his hand together, he's saying to God in you, I bow to you. I bow to Sitaram in you. I bow to Radha Krishna in you. I bow to Lord Shiva in you. He sees God's he's practicing to do that. Of course, we don't see as yet. We don't have the right eyes. One who has attained God, he has attained the right eyes, so he sees God everywhere, in everything. Siya Ram mai sab jag jani, Karahu pranam jori jug pani. Like Hanumanji. Hanumanji is saying, everywhere I look, I see my beloved Sitaram. In every particle of the world, I see my beloved Sitaram. And I put my hand together and I do pranam, I bow. You know, when Bhagwan Sri Ram and Sita was crowned after returning to Ayodhya, 14 years in banishment, they were put on the throne. Vibhishan brought a beautiful garland with the most beautiful of gems that you could not even find in this world, and he gave it to Mother Sita. So Mother Sita started looking at Sri Ram, and Sri Ram shook his head. Sita and Ram are one and the same, Radha, Krishna are one and the same. They know exactly, they don't have to speak. बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. माँ सीता ने भगवान को देखा, भगवान समझ में आ गए. She just looked at him and he understood. He said yes. In other words, she's saying, I'm going to give this to my bhakt, my son Hanuman. Lord said yes. So she called Hanuman and she gave that beautiful garland with the most beautiful of gems. And everyone is seeing, they thought, oh, maybe she'll give it to me. Sabka isha ho gaya. Sabko jalan. Everyone is jealous. Oh, she give it to a monkey. What did Hanuman do? He started breaking those gems. One by one, he put it between the teeth and break it. And they started, everyone in the court, they started, oh, Bhagwan, hey, this is what happens when you give a monkey. Someone who is undeserving for such a gift. So they questioned Hanuman, why are you doing this? Ye kya kar rahe? So Hanuman said, I'm looking for my beloved. Something is only valuable if I can find my beloved Sitaram in that. If there's no Sitaram, if my Lord is not there, it's useless. Kuch nahi. It could be the best thing in the world, but if my Lord is not there, it's nothing. So they said, Hanuman, this is inner thing. That body of yours, is Sitaram in that also? Hanuman said, yes. If not, I will destroy it. You are keeping that body, Hanuman. You said the only thing of value to you if it has Sitaram. So does your body have Sitaram? In other words, destroy it. Get rid of that body of yours too. Hanuman said, certainly. Hanuman ripped the chest. And everyone, what did they see? The same Sitaram who was sitting on the throne, sitting in the heart of Hanuman. So Hanuman is everywhere I look. So a devotee sees the Lord everywhere in everything. Isha vasamidagvam sarvam. Purukhaye vidagvam sarvam. Vasudeva sarvamiti. Everywhere and in everything, in every particle of the world. And that's why. If someone were to ask you, why do you do? Tell them. I am bowing to God in that person. Gaurang Mahaprabhu used to bow to the pigs and the dogs. The Lord descended as Gaurang Mahaprabhu, Bhagwan Sri Radha Krishna. He would bow to the devotees, that's good. But he would also bow to the pigs and the dogs. Why? Showing us that God is everywhere in everything. A true devotee, because he sees his Lord in everything, in everywhere, in everyone, he can't even hurt an ant. Cheeky. Far less to hurt another human being. This is the greatness of Sanatan Dharma. We don't understand the greatness of what we have. Everything we do has deep, deep meaning. Very deep meaning. So that is the second class, the one, because he sees differences. He loves the Lord. He cherishes Bhagwan, but he sees differences. That this one is my enemy, so I'm neutral to him. These are true devotees of the Lord, so I love him, etc. और तीसरी कक्षा है जो भगवान का मूर्ति का पूजन करते हैं लेकिन भक्तों का सेवा नहीं करते हैं और जो अन्य लोग हैं तो इसकी तरफ भी देखते नहीं. And the third class, the lowest class of devotee, are those who just worship an image of Bhagwan. They worship, they do murti puja, etc. They worship Bhagwan with love and devotion. They do bhakti, but they do not serve other devotees of the Lord. ये सेवा भावना नहीं है. They don't have the feeling that when you meet a true bhakt, that you're meeting Bhagwan himself. When you meet a true devotee, a true saint, Bhagwan Krishna is saying to Uddhav, Acharya mam vijaniyan navamanyet karhichit namartya buddhya suyet sarvadeva mayo guru. Bhagavat Mahapuran, 11 canto, 17 chapter, 27 verse. Bhagwan Krishna says, Uddhav, know the saint. Acharya means saint, one who's attained God realization. Know the saint to be me, Shri Krishna personified. Mam vijaniyan. Do not see him as a material man. He looks like a material person outwardly. You can't see his, because you don't have the right eyes. Do not use your material mind and intellect to understand him. Yes, he does everything like us in the world. When God and the saints come in the world, they don't act anything special. Just like us, they eat, they sleep. Everything just like us in the world. They have mother, father, they get married, they have everything like us. There's nothing different. That's why we don't know. And we judge. We take our material mind and intellect and we judge. And we commit nama prad, unpardonable sin. The worst, there are many nama prad, but the worst one is to have negative feeling about a true saint, a true devotee of Bhagwan. To want to harm him or to think negatively. Vishnu sthane kritam papam guru sthane pramuchyate. Guru sthane kritam papam bhajjalepo bhavishyati. The scripture says, if we think wrong, negative thoughts about God, Guru has the power to forgive. He will forgive that. You will be saved through Guru's grace. Guru will forgive. But if you think wrong about a saint, a true Guru, a true saint, Bhagwan says, I will never forgive. God will never forgive. In the Ramayana, Tulsidas ji says, Ram, Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo Ram.
Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Ram, Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo Ram.
Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
सुनु सुरेश रघुनाथ सुभाऊ निज अपराध रिसाही न काऊ. बोल
राम सिया राम जय जय राम. राम सिया राम जय जय राम.
ओ जो अपराध भगत कर करई राम रोष पावक सो जरई. बोलो
राम सिया राम जय जय राम. राम सिया राम जय जय राम.
सुनो सुरेश रघुनाथ सुभाऊ निज अपराध रिसाही न काऊ. Someone commits crime, they think wrong about God, people curse God. Bhagwan doesn't get angry. Oh, poor children of mine, they are ignorant, they don't understand that everything they will get from me. But they don't understand that I am the true everything. Maybe one day they will. But जो अपराध भगत कर करी तो राम रोष पावक सो जरी. When one tries to harm a true devotee, bhakt, one who is a true devotee of God, thinks negative, try to harm a devotee, Ram Rosh. Rosh means anger. God's anger becomes like a fire, pavak, that burns, will burn you to ashes, will destroy you completely. You have to be very, very careful. We don't know. Not by looking outwardly, you cannot know. Devotees, they act. On the inside, they love God. They're so close, and they will say outwardly, I don't know who is a God, and I don't know about God. They act, they hide their love for God. We have to be very careful. Out, हम लोग कहते हैं कि हम भक्त हैं. We say we are devotees of God. We call ourselves devotees. But do we really believe in God? That God pervades in every particle, that He is looking at me every moment? People say to their children, when they go to mandir, etc., my child, this is a house of God. We have come to God's house. Don't do anything wrong here. And the child takes this to mean that when I leave the mandir, then I can do all the wrong I want. Because God only lives in the mandir and is going to put it to good use in the future. So does God live only in the mandir, only in the murti? The scriptures tell us, Prabhu Vyapak Sarvatra Samana Prem te pragat hoi mai jana. Prabhu Vyapak Sarvatra, that God pervades everywhere. Everybody says that. Every religion, God is here, there, and everywhere. Prabhu Vyapak Sarvatra. But the important word here is Samana. That He pervades everywhere equally. Yes, He's in the mandir, He's in the murti, 100%. But He's also in the road, 100%. He's in the ram shop, in the toilet. Everywhere, 100%. So why do we say don't do anything wrong in the mandir only? Since God is all-knowing, all-seeing, all-pervading, He is everywhere, 100%, sitting in our heart, taking note every moment. Why don't we say don't do anything wrong anywhere at all? Because we don't believe that also, that's why. People come in the mandir, they read Ramayana, Gita, Bhagavat. 2 hours, 1 hour, 25 minutes. For that time you believe in God. When you leave the mandir, now nobody's looking at me now. No Bhagavan, that is. Now I can curse, I can fight. I can do all the wrong things I want. Because now no Bhagavan looking at me. And we call ourselves devotees. No. So here, Hari gives a beautiful description of what a devotee is. Listen. Tribhuvana vibhava hetavepya kuntha smiti rajitatma surari bhirvrimighyat nachalati bhagavat padara vilnda lavanimishad dhamapi yasa vaishnavagya. 11 canto, 2nd chapter, 53rd verse. 53rd verse. Very beautifully. He says, that person is the word Vaishnav means bhakt, devotee. He is a true devotee of God who does not forget the Lord even for a moment. Lavanimishar. Lavanimi means even for the blink of an eye. Even for a moment doesn't forget the Lord. Who constantly performs activities knowing that the Lord is constantly looking at me. Every moment He's looking. Every activity he performs knowing the Lord is looking at me. Every moment. He never forgets the Lord even for a moment. Constantly realizes the presence of the Lord and performs every activity knowing the Lord is the witness. He's looking at me all the time. Only then we can say we are devotees, we are bhakt. Otherwise, we are trying to be. It's a different thing. What a bhakta really is a different thing. We have to understand that. We have to reach there one day. Understand what believe in God means. Understand. Look, the word Satyavadi. You know, Harishchandra is called Satyavadi. Satyavadi means one who speaks the truth every moment. Bhishma Pitama Akhanda Brahmachari. Eternally celibate. Unbreakable celibacy. So one is a brahmachari who is every moment a brahmachari, celibate. One is Satyavadi who speaks the truth every moment. Not only 15 minutes or 24 hours you speak the truth and I am Satyavadi. No. In the same way, one is a devotee of the Lord who believes in the Lord every moment. Then we can say, I am Bhakt, I am devotee. This is what Hari is saying to Videhanimi. That's the answer to the second question. We'll go further in the next katha. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Shrimat Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.